All right, we got, what's up, Tom?
What's up?
How you doing, bro?
Hold on. What's up, fellas?
Does it work now?
Yeah, way better. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Paul, nice. I mean, I feel like I've known you forever because I've watched your stuff forever. But
Likewise, bro.
Right. But I think this is the first time we've ever done anything together. So
It's the first time. Yeah.
Yeah. Very nice to meet you, man.
Likewise, bro. Likewise.
Yeah. And T Money, you on the other hand, think like a CEO. What the hell are you talking about? Think like the executive chairman. That's the new role. Executive chair. Do nothing.
You know what? I'm changing the shirt now. There you go.
So, Tom, are you in your Texas or California office now?
I'm in the Texas office. So this is our temp spot.
Stay warm, brother. Stay warm.
No, dude, it's like 75 degrees outside right now.
Oh, that's it. It's done deal already, right?
Yeah. I mean, it was cold for like 5 days. And then literally I was like, okay, it's 78 degrees outside. I'm wearing shorts to the office. Like it's nuts. They say it's like Colorado. Like if you don't like the weather, just wait a day.
Oh, you'll be happy. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm loving it though. So Tristan, you're in San Diego, right?
I'm in Malibu, California.
Even better.
Dude,
Bastard.
you can't be, it's hard to be Malibu.
Well, yes. Paul, what about you, man? Where are you at?
Seattle.
Love it. Where about, like Seattle proper?
No, we're in Kirkland, Washington.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, across the lake. Yeah.
Yeah. My COO lives in Tacoma.
Okay, down south. Yeah.
Yep. And then our VP of marketing, who is a beast, lives like basically like downtown Seattle.
Okay, it's a ghost town now. They call it.
Yeah, I know, man. Little crazy. I got three of my teammates that are all in Washington, and then like 165 in California and about 30 here in the great state of Texas.
Yeah. Nice.
So, yeah, fun.
Nice, bro. Nice. I love your setup. I'm seeing it on YouTube now. You're doing some YouTube from that setup, so I'm digging that.
Yeah. Well, that's because I got the other Tristan, the real Tristan, behind me over here.
What's up, other Tristan?
What's up, other Tristan?
You know what? Hold on. On that note, Tristan, the other Tristan. Sometimes Tom, so people wonder like how often I text with Tom.
Yeah.
Tom texts me, yo, Tristan, I need this and that and this and that. I'm like, I go, Tom.
Wrong Tristan.
Wrong Tristan. But it happens weekly, but I love it. So
Because I go, hey Siri, text Tristan.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I've only met maybe 3 others in my entire life. And that was all when I was a kid. I haven't met one in like my adult life.
well, there you go, man. Nice to meet you, bro.
Nice to meet you too.
Love it. All right, now you know.
I'm having a multiple Tristan bromance here.
There you go, man. There you go. All right. Well, let's get started, bro. Thank you so much for doing this mastermind with us. It's a leverage mastermind brought to you by Virtudesk. And we thought of you because you've been able to scale your businesses at such a rapid scale after, right? Because it was a slow start and it's normal, but then it's like you blew up out of nowhere. And that's really what I wanted to talk about in the sense of scaling, because when we look at you and your organizations, a lot of agents can just glance through it and be like, oh, it's just a coach. But there's so much more to what you've done that nobody talks about, right? Like the businesses that you've invested in, the ability to create your teams to be able to manage things while you're doing this, right? That's what I really wanted to talk about. And the first question is taking it to a very more entry level question. What's the one thing that you would suggest for people to start with when it comes to business or real estate so that they can do more? And I'm talking about leveraging. Where should they look in the sense of, well, maybe I should leverage that out?
So, this should sound fundamental for anybody that has been a student of business. And, as you know, I barely got out of high school. So for me, business is the hobby that I'm obsessed about, always has been, always will be. So I was thinking about even this morning, one of the earliest books I read that really moved me was Michael Ovid's autobiography right after he had left Disney. And, he talked about creating a little company called CAA, which he ultimately ended up selling and making $1 gazillion on. But what he acknowledged was that people have different skill sets and different niches and different expertises. Expertises, I'm not sure if that's a word, but you all know what I mean. And what he said was, why not build an agency, right? In his case, a talent agency. And instead of having, Pavel's group over here that is all the writers, and Tristan's group over here that are the directors, and Tom's group over here that are the talent, what if I got them all working together in unison with a unified vision, aligned comp, inspired workforce? And I look at that and say, why wouldn't every entrepreneur start the same way? The mistake that so many people made, and I didn't make it early on when I started the business 17 years ago. Like I remember leaving my house, getting in my car, and driving over to some space that I was going to lease from a mentor of mine who was running at that time a large percentage of the Irvine company in California. And I came home, left at like 9, came home at like 6. And by the time I got home, I hired 11 employees, picked up 3,000 square feet, started the branding, started the marketing, started everything. And I came home, my wife's like, what are you doing? I'm like, she's like, I thought we were going to do this like out of the garage. I'm like, no, honey, like metaphorically is, you know what I mean? Like, starting it out of the garage. I'm like, no, because I knew I needed salespeople. I needed a content writer. I needed an IT director. I needed a head of coaching. I needed a head of sales. And I hired everybody in the first day. So the answer is, for anybody listening right now, I guess fundamentally you have to decide, do you want to be big or small? Right? So there's 32 million businesses in the US. 96% of them do less than $1 million a year in revenue. I had no interest in being small. And I don't say that with ego or bravado or anything other than, like, if you're going to do something, like, do it big. And big is a relative term. Like, big, if you're a developer, you build 5 houses, or you build 5,000 houses, or you build a master plan community of 10,000 houses. It's all relative, right? So the answer is, ready? The simple answer is, what is the highest and best use of your time? What are you really good at? Everything else needs to be delegated. Everything else needs to be outsourced or insourced or a combination of the two. And I think the reason why most people don't, not knowing entirely, if your audience is just real estate agents or entrepreneurs or tech or whoever they are, is they think they can do it better than anybody else, which is the cardinal sin. That's like the guarantee of you will be small forever, right? No one can do it better than me. You will be small forever. Or they say, I don't have the money. And my response is, then, A, you need to look at financing. You need to look at debt. You need to look at taking equity out of your house. Because if you can't get the resources right, you're going to stay small forever. Like, there's no slow road to China. Like, it's just, you got to go big or go home in today's environment.
Dude, I want to touch on that a little more. But first, there's a slight echo on your mic a little bit.
Tristan, anything?
No, it's still a little bit there.
Okay. Tristan's moving chords and
cool. We'll keep going. I'll let you know when it's gone. So on this scaling side, I think it applies for real estate too, because when I look at teams, oh, perfect. It works great. Thanks. When I look at teams, when I look at agents, I look back to when I started growing. It was when I went all in on online leads. I mean, literally like dumped a whole bunch of cash. And I'm like, makes sense, man. So I see where you're heading. So now when you're looking at companies, and this is a question I have, I'm steering away from the other questions, Tom. You're looking at companies to either invest in or be like, this looks like an interesting company. What are you looking at to be able to say, you know what, I'm going to invest in this one, or this one might work? What does that look like to you?
So I try not to invest in anything that I think might work. So I invested in a company yesterday. So I don't know, 66, 67 businesses originally in my portfolio. Many of them have now triggered and gone public. So I take them out of the sort of, venture capital world. Slack's public, Acorns, knock on wood, should be soon, Robinhood and others. But I guess it's probably the same thing that everybody looks for, that if you're doing this kind of, whether it's passive or more involved board work, level investments, I want to know, are the people right? Do I like the gal? Do I like the guy? Do I want them over at my house? Am I going to spend time with them? Are they coachable? Can I learn from them? Like, am I going to have like that kind of relationship? And that's important to me, not on the level of like Stuart Butterfield or, Scott Painter with Fair and, TrueCar and some of these other deals that I've been a part of, those I'm just happy to be in the deal. You with me? Like they're proven, they know what they're doing, happy to put some shekels in and go for the ride. But the ones that I want to get more involved in, it's likability. And then number two, it's do they have the ability and a track record of execution? Is their product right enough? And are they open and coachable to recognize that the product you start with outside of like maybe a LinkedIn, the product you start with is going to morph over time and improve and get better and tweak and adjust because everything's in beta for at least 5 years. So right people, right execution, right? And right product. Those are really the three things. And then when it comes to a marketing standpoint, like I'm working with one of the young founders right now of a company, Digsy, and the typical story. They started out saying, we want to do this for the commercial real estate space. Now they're doing that. And you could see like they've got the right people, they've got the right execution. But then the third part is, can they figure out sales and marketing? Because I think where a lot of founders, especially, maybe not in your case, Tristan, because you were like, okay, wait a minute, I can buy online leads so I can just scale.
Yeah.
You with me? And the moment you realize that, you're like, oh my God, this is just a math equation, right? How much money do I put in? How many leads do I get out? And what's the time frame between break even and then profitability? Mm-hmm. It's just math, top, middle, bottom of the funnel, work the math and you're going to win. Most founders don't get that. They don't come from the sales and marketing side. They usually come from the product side. So, so can they get out of their own way? Can they hire that person? Can they outsource or insource some kind of sales and marketing strategy? And that's really where I love to play. So it's really like those four things. And then, I mean, at the end of the day, so much of it is just likability. You with me? Like, do I like the person? Because from there, I'm going to get more of the truth about their ability to execute. And is the product right? And is the team going to be right? That's basically it. I mean, I wouldn't really call myself a full-time investor. I'm definitely I'm a small-time investor in terms of the size of my portfolio, but I do love it because business is my hobby. So it's another way to play.
Dude, I love that. Thanks,
Love
man.
that. Yeah.
That was a personal question for me, dude. So
yeah, well, hey man, I always have deal flow. If you find interesting deals, keep me in the loop.
I might have two for you that approached me, so I'll send them over to you.
Yeah, please.
So question then on leveraging, because a lot of agents, like you said right now, they don't get out of their own way and they just never scale. So if you're looking at a team, what would you say, hey man, first step on growing would be hiring these people. You did it all at once. So most people don't think like that, but where would an agent or a team or a small business be like, these are the first things or first people you hire?
So again, because there's so many different levels of where that person could be, if it's in the beginning, you need an assistant, right? Once you have maxed out that assistant and you're probably already using an outsourced transaction coordinator or an outsourced marketing solution, then it's going to come down to, revenue growth, or is it operational excellence? And that's really that's where it bifurcates, right? Like, do I need more revenue? Well, then I need more sales, more marketing, more leverage of my time, and eventually a sales manager at 10 plus salespeople as an example. Where on the other side, it's operations. Operations is going to be everything from utilizing solutions like Sisu, Dotloop, your transaction management solution, running the sort of ops side of the business. That's where it bifurcates. So again, maybe I need a little more, like, give me an example. Like, where is this person? Are they starting brand new?
Let's say they want to scale from being a single agent that has maybe a transaction coordinator to a small team to be a bigger team.
Love it. So, it's interesting because I'm doing a whole event just on this coming up. So the answer is, if you're going single to the early stages of your team, assuming that your DISC profile is like DI. So you're a driver, you want to get things done, you're a control freak, but you're also expressive, you're good with customers, then you need the yin to your yang. You need the quiet, mellow, spreadsheet, boring, not a lot of personality, get shit done person, right? So you hire that first assistant, that, SC, maybe DS, right? That combination also, because they need to battle against, you and all that you are as a wonderful salesperson. That's what I need. And I need someone that was strong enough to say, no, you have a million ideas. We can only do 3, right?
Isn't that your wife though? Come on.
Dude, my wife is tough as nails, man.
She's like, no, Tom.
Yeah. I mean, she's Italian. Like, if I don't pay attention, like, there could be like a horse head in the bed and, we only know there's trouble from there. So I would say that's the first move. You got to get the right first assistant. And then the most natural leverage point there is if you've got lead flow or you're running out of time as a salesperson, then you need like that junior salesperson. So buyer's agent, additional listing agent, someone else that can pick up the slack so you can actually have a life, go away, get some time off. Or hey, if you're a good listing agent, we're not in the COVID environment or even in the COVID environment, hey, we're running around buyers. I've only got so much time. Like if you're in that situation where you have too many clients and not enough time, and in today's environment, you can't say no to a customer. You can't say, no, sorry, I'm busy. And then I've got my kids and I've got that. They're like, that's great. They're on an app. They find another agent. They're looking at a house. So you need to scale that side. So first is assistant. Second is sales. And then from there, it really gets interesting. Like, do you need a videographer? Do you need a marketing person who's going to be like a marketing coordinator to help you make sure your direct mail, your email marketing, your SMS marketing, all of your socials being done, your videos are being done, they're being distributed. That's a vital role today for agents, a huge role. And then it's just expansion of sales. Like it's kind of ops sales, like I said in the very beginning, but that first person is that first assistant. Got to be the opposite of you.
Dude, that makes a lot of sense. Somebody says on the comments here, Tom, if I'm at all DI, should I do a DISC or a KPA on the interview?
You know, so I'll give you a hint. I'm an investor in a company 3 years ago called Crystal Nose. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that. So Crystal Nose is ridiculous. So Pavel, picture this, right? So I'm doing an interview today on my podcast, and I know this person, but I don't know them well enough, right? So I'm like, okay, I go to LinkedIn, I click on the button, and it tells me everything about this person, their DISC profile, language that they use. If I wanted to schedule an appointment, deliver bad news, sell them something, like 15 different sort of communication coach buttons I can click on. And then it tells me the exact language to use and what not to use. Right.
Wow.
So I'm looking for also, it's a bonkers. Like my son, who's 21, who's a CS major, he's like, that's the best company you've ever invested in. Right. By the way, get this. When I invested in the first round, Microsoft and Salesforce both split the lead, and I was the balance.
Wow.
That was what I was super excited about. But here's the point. So I would go to Crystal Nose, and what I'm looking for is Crystal Nose will say, here's your profile, here's Pavel's profile, here's your profile, here's your potential new assistant's profile. And what you're looking for is this. You're not looking for, we cross over everywhere. The rule is if you cross over everywhere, one of you is unnecessary.
That's a good point. Yeah. That's definitely.
And look, there's a lot of behavioral, like psychology to this. There's a lot of profiling programs, whatever one is right for you. Right. Obviously I have a tendency, like I'm Warren Buffett style. Like if I like it, I use it, I invest in it, and I continue to use it. So I like Crystal Nose.
I love it, man. I just put that into my notes too. So
I gotta look it up. Definitely.
You guys know Kyle Whistle down in San Diego. Kyle, like I introduced my base maybe 2-ish years ago. And all of a sudden, like, guys, he would literally say, oh, my secret weapon now is an inbound lead comes in, and obviously an ISA or someone's going to scrub the lead. They also immediately go to LinkedIn, look at their Crystal Nose profile, and then say, wow, based on this person's profile, they should go to that salesperson. It's the secret weapon. It is absolutely the secret. I don't do meetings without first checking Crystal Nose to know who is this person and how do I best be in rapport with them.
Dude, I'm looking up if Crystal Nose has an integration with Zapier so that we can zap them first. I'm going to check it out.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. And if they don't, I can ping the CEO.
So you can use that thing to interview potential candidates for for a job. Whoever is applying to you, you can use that thing and
1,000%.
Yeah,
1,000%.
That's good, man.
And the good news is, like, for all my friends in the real estate, and I actually think I saw Gabe Cole, who I've known forever. So if that was actually Gabe Cole from Orange County, California, what's up, man? What I would tell people is if you're in the real estate business, myself and a million other people have done a gazillion videos on the ideal personality profile for an assistant is, the ideal personality profile for a marketing director is, ISA is, OSA is, ops manager, sales, It's all there. So, the mighty power of Google. Don't reinvent the wheel.
Dude, I love that. I'm going to put up the name there just in case people have questions. And Pavel, you had a question here that you wanted to add. I'm sorry I interrupted you, buddy.
The one. Well, the question I have is, what are some of your team system methods you adopted over the last couple of years that help you scale your business? So that will be the question, I believe.
Well, I think for anybody out there that's looking to scale, first, I think you need a management methodology that you follow, like an operating system as a business that you follow. So whether that is
like SOP, pretty much.
Well, no, I'm thinking more go higher level. I think like 4 disciplines of execution, measure what matters, OKRs, EOS.
Are you talking about like Ray Dalio principles? What are the principles you abide by type thing?
Yeah. And that was an insane book, but it's 167 principles. And for the average person that you're doing, $300,000 in revenue, it's
not gonna work.
After like the third principle, you're like, I don't speak Latin, right? Like,
it's true,
it's taken me a while to digest that. So no, I mean, like everyone should read, like, I'll give you like the most basic version. Go back and read the E-Myth by Michael Gerber, right?
Mm-hmm.
So E-Myth basically says, look, in every business, there's 3 kinds of people, right? There's the owner, there's the manager, and there's the tactician, right? So even that, right? If you just start there, that's going to be helpful. So some form of operating system. I love 40X. I also love OKRs. I recognize for some younger entrepreneurs, EOS is another good one. All these could be Googled and books can be acquired and, software and all that kind of stuff. From there, I look and say, you need CRM, you need project management, right? You need transaction management or workflow, depending upon the business that you're in. We'll call that transaction management for us.
Or real estate, let's say.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You need an ESP, right? An email service provider. And you probably need 2, because if you have one and you put any bad emails into your account, you get blackballed, and that's bad, right? So, not paying attention to the email rules, which all of you need to follow. You need some kind of data mining, right? To be able to look and say, like, I'm a fan of Sisu, not an investor, still pissed that I didn't invest because I met mine a long time ago. And one of my mentors did invest, and I'm angry just thinking about it. But maybe later we'll see. But like what I love about what Brian and the guys at Sisu have done is they've given the analytical person the ability to see the whole picture of their business, right? Every salesperson, every lead pillar, time to convert, ROI on each lead source by salesperson. So, there's a lot of great software out there. Follow Up is amazing. Boomtown is amazing. Chime is amazing, right? All these sort of front end CRMs. There's a ton of them that are great. But if you don't connect the dots between the forward interfacing Google Analytics, email marketing, direct mail to the actual result, they call it the cash register, then you don't really know what's working and what doesn't. Like in my business, I know like down to the, dollar what our best marketing and lead generation is. And I know like I can drive a ton of traffic to my site doing 2 things and never produce a single lead. I know it. And people say, well, do you do that? Yes, I do it twice a week. You with me? Because it's just a value add. It's just delivering people free good stuff with no ask whatsoever. But if you're not looking at the data, you don't know. So, again, CRM, transaction management, some kind of project management, whether that's Trello, Asana, Monday, there's so many of them out there. Kyle Whistle and I, just going back to Kyle, we did a whole show just on all of the appropriate systems and automation that a good real estate agent should have at a team level. And we went through all these, Crystal Knows being one of them on the list. So I don't know if I'm answering your question, fellas, but it's operating system first, which is like management methodology. How do we do it around here? I love the Montel Jordan song. This is how we do it, right? Like you need to be able to say, hey, if you're on our team, this is what we do. We use this software. We use this transaction management program. We do this kind of social. We make these phone calls. We use these kind of scripts and dialogues. This is how we show up for customers. You got to have all those standards in place. Otherwise, you're not a team. You're more of a brokerage and everybody just does whatever they want.
Tristan, you're on mute, bro.
Yeah, we lost your audio there, partner.
I need a shirt that says I'm on mute. So on that, there are a lot of agents that have a balanced staff. They have virtual, they have in-house. Right?
Yeah.
I have a whole bunch.
That's what we do. Yeah. Hybrid. Hybrid staff. Yeah.
Yep.
Where would you say that agents should hire their virtual staff to do specifically, or or is it not really specific in your eyes? What do you see working at a high level?
Well, look, I mean, I was a huge advocate of a company called Fiverr forever. Prior to that, it was iFreelance. These
Investor?
were, these, say again?
Investor?
No,
Are you
not
an
an
investor
investor in
there?
either one of them. Thanks for bringing it up. I'm angry again. You're not making me very happy right now. There's, like you can't get into every deal, right? You can't get into every deal, and
Of
you
course
miss
not,
opportunities. Tristan, my other Tristan, not Tristan, think like a CEO, the other Tristan over here, he is the biggest fan of Super 73. If you guys know the super hip electric bikes that are just lightning hot right now, like professional athletes, celebrities, like it's a super cool, very kind of vibe thing, right? Well, they just raised $20 million on what? Probably $120 million valuation. Tristan sells more Super 73s than Super 73 as just an influencer for them. And I'm like, I didn't get in the deal. I'm pissed just thinking about it. Anyway, Fiverr, great in the early stages of like, hey, I want to get some videos edited, or iFreelance and Elance and all these other companies that are still around today that just help people get marketing stuff done, Excel spreadsheets. Hey, I need you to build out, ABC for me. And it's never $5 on Fiverr. It's 25, it's 50, it's 100. But again, you're getting one piece of work done. You find a trusted person over there that can help you build stuff, and it's great. Right. So whether it's that or transaction coordination, which I was looking at, this is an interesting one. So I look at these agents that are out there that'll come to me and they'll say, I don't feel comfortable turning over my transaction to a transaction coordinator. And I'm like, okay, I get it. So it's documented. It takes 11 physical time-intensive hours of actual time in front of the file, communicating with clients to close one transaction. So that's not like my clients in New York City where it's probably 2x that, right? Conservatively.
Yeah.
Easy.
It's 11 hours. So I'll just say to agents, so let me ask you a question. Have you figured out how much money you make per hour? Because if a TC costs you $350, if you're making $35 an hour, then yeah, you might want to do that work. But otherwise, if you make like $175 an hour because you're doing your job, which is what you should be doing as a real estate professional, or $1,000 an hour or $2,000 an hour, the last thing you should be doing is doing any of that stuff. So it doesn't kill, as you guys know, it doesn't eliminate the relationship, communication, the assurance, I got your back, Tom and Kathy, don't worry, we're getting this done. Did Martha or Stuart reach out to you with all the paperwork, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't kill the communication side, but it frees all the rest of that stuff up. So I'd probably say marketing would be first and transaction management would be the second one.
A lot of it comes down to the mindset of an agent. Usually we see like with the newer agent or agent who's been in business like for a little bit, maybe, and they have this scare of hiring somebody because they look at hiring somebody as an expense on their business, and they think, okay, if I'm going to hire somebody, which means I got to give away part of my money to have this person on a payroll. How do you change that mindset? How do you have this mindset shift where they look at it as an asset, not a liability?
At this point in my career, I say, so you're choosing to be small. Awesome.
Bam. That's it.
Is there anything
That's
wrong
it, like-
with that for some people? Like some people want to remain small, but
There's nothing wrong with that. But don't complain to me and say you don't have enough time. Don't complain to me and say you have no listings and you have no time to attract listings because you're working with buyers, but then you're working on all your escrows or your pending sales. Like if you're going to there is something to saying, I choose to be small and boutique. I want to help 18 people buy and sell real estate in the calendar year 2021. And I'm going to limit myself. I'm not going to, God bless, if I got an opportunity to launch 5 listings in a month, I'm not going to do it because I can't. Right. So instead, I'm going to pace them out, 2 this month and maybe 2 the next month. And I'm going to communicate why to the customer so they understand. And I mean, like, there's nothing wrong with that. What I can't stand though is the earlier you talked about the word scale, Tristan, and the note I had over here that I was sharing with the group yesterday is it's the bifurcation of the 1.5 million agents in the US, right? So there's 1.5 million agents. 57% of them have closed a deal this year. 43% have not closed a deal.
whoa,
Let's just stop right there, right? So if you say
Wow.
only 57% have closed a deal, right? And we've had a massive surge in transactions this year, regardless of the lack of inventory and everything else. It's going bonkers right now, right? In the US, I don't know how many people are from around the world, just in the US.
Mhm.
So of that 57%, there's still only basically two groups. There's stuck and scaling, stuck and scaling. The stuck people have no more time. You with me? And I just say, God bless you, keep up the good work, but don't complain, right? Because the other group over here is scaling, and they're scaling to buy back freedom. So they're scaling for market, they're scaling for marketing, they're scaling with a team, could be an assistant. They could get their 21-year-old son, who's my son living across the way here, and saying, I'm going to give you food money and beer money and weed, like whatever, just please do these jobs for me. Like they're being resourceful so they can do more. You with me? Not stupid with their money, not getting over there, over the mountain, if you will, on their skis, right? Like you got to be mindful of that, but that's it. Like that's the whole industry today. And under the scaling group, guys, there's small team, large team, mega team, and industrialized teams.
Mm-hmm.
And the industrialized teams, like many of my clients today, like one of my guys today I'm talking to, he did 3,100 transactions last year, and he's not a broker.
Wow.
He's not a brokerage, but he did 3,100 transactions last year. $1 billion in sales. And he's like, I don't know, 39, maybe 38.
We have a question from one of your coaching clients, John, and I don't want to butcher the last name, Buninfante.
I already asked that one, Pavel.
Oh, he did? Okay. All right.
But Gabe Cole says, hey, Tom, we miss you in Newport.
Hey, yep, I miss Newport also. Hey, but bring a buyer. Come sell my house, please.
That's right. Good job, Tom. Dude, so with what you were saying, I think it's a challenge for some people to really see what's happening with the real estate world. Sometimes they're so focused on, wow, I need to create business for myself right now. They don't see how it's evolving quickly and changing our world. Where do you see real estate for agents heading in the next year, just this year?
So I have to be cautious. I have to edit myself. So I'll just say that I think the definition of teams is going to change. And this is my forecast for 2021. There will be 100 teams in the US that do more than 1,000 transactions or more than $1 billion in sales volume. And, maybe Ryan does it, not last year, because last year was rough in New York City, or, Frederick and some of these like celebrity agents, you'll see that. But I think it's going to be more and more than just regular guys and gals who just recognize the opportunity, as you did, Tristan. Like I can buy leads, I can generate leads, I can arbitrage the arbitrage. You look at the number of agents that, I'm going to be controversial for some of you, Zillow Flex, Realtor VIP, HomeLight, UpNest, Mellow Homes, Rocket Homes, and 50 others that have said, I can figure out how to make a margin on paying a 25 or 35% referral fee, because I can adjust the splits and make sure that I provide either additional services, mortgage, title, escrow, closing services, et cetera. I mean, we're legitimately we're staring down the barrel of agents that don't have the broker, let's just call it governance, challenges, cost, thin margins, that are literally doing $1 billion in sales. You with me? Like, I think that's going to be a major, I think the next couple years, you're going to see literally kings and queens being recognized around the country. And so what does that mean to the person that's selling 3 or 5 or 6 or a brand new agent? It means nothing, because real estate is so local and so relationship based that, if you're just relatively nice and you talk to a few people, someone's going to buy a house from you. Now, the hard part is going to be, and you guys know this, is what happens when Zillow really turns on the jets? Yeah. What happens?
Good one.
If tomorrow, let's just go crazy for a second. What if tomorrow Zillow buys Redfin, fires all the agents on a Tuesday, gives them as a gift to Realogy, and then they just have another site with all the traffic? Like, and people are like, oh, there's no way. Oh my God, what are we getting? I'm like, look, all of this is possible.
Bro, you're overlooking another elephant in the room, Amazon.
Oh, Amazon. Like, you know what? Amazon would be more inclined just to buy the entire industry, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Buy Zillow.
Yeah. I mean, and that's a viable thing. And what I don't do is I don't get upset about it. I say Zillow is Zillowing along. They're going to do what's in their best interest for their shareholders, for their customers, for their consumers, yada, yada, yada. I think it's going to be a fascinating time, but I want to just make a point. Ready? If you're a brand new agent it doesn't mean the end of the world. What it means is you now have to position yourself as the local agent in your town who knows what they're doing and who knows how to solve their problems, whether it's a buyer or a seller. There's always going to be a place for that. Everybody should read the book, Humans Are Underrated. Humans Are Underrated, which talks about the 5 superpowers that humans have, that even Elon Musk's Neuralink is 20 years away from cracking the code on empathy.
That's
I
right.
mean, by the way, I'm just curious, would you guys do Neuralink? If you
I
had
don't
the
think
option,
so.
would you plant the chip in your brain?
Nah.
I'd do it in 2 seconds.
I would.
I would do it in 2 seconds.
Yeah,
I mean, just the thought of, forget the limitless pill, going back to that movie, but the ability to like, just say, think of it like, it's like the Matrix. Hey, Tank, I need to know how to fly a B-12 helicopter. And now I'm flying a helicopter. That to me seems like a really fun ride.
Yeah, dude.
Were we
I
even
agree with you
answering
on
a
that.
question here, fellas? I think we're just talking.
No, it's good, man. Well, look, it's what everybody wants to know, right? It's in conversation. So
Yeah.
Exactly.
Good.
Yeah.
And for those of you listening in, subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's right there. That's where everybody's watching. And also take a look at Virtudesk. We put up the link there. It's $1 to sign up. And then
Today, because our sales team has been swamped right now, and they wanted to let you know that's available only today, $1 setup fee. So if you're reach out to them today and sign up today, guys, because tomorrow is not going to be available. That's what my sales managers just told me. All right. So yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks, Pavel. Appreciate it. All right, Tom, question on where agents should be focusing on while all this is happening on the background. If an agent's jumping in right now, or they want to level up, where would you say, hey guys, you really need to focus in on this to make this year the most amazing year for you? It's not too late.
Okay. So to me, I look at that as 2 different questions. Like, what do they need to do long-term and what do they need to do short-term? So short-term, what I would say is everyone, wherever you're watching, listening with us live or later, grab your cell phone, go to your contacts, and then go all the way down to the Z or the pound sign and acknowledge the fact, like in my case, I've got 5,638 contacts in my phone. So the moment you realize you have 200, 500, 300, 1,000, 97, whatever that number is, your mission is to contact every single person in your database 3 times this year. 3 times this year. And if you, like, for me, like, think about like 5,600 and whatever, like it's a bonkers number, but most people don't have that many people in their phone, right? So you got 1,800, right? And then you realize, oh, maybe I shouldn't have put those 500 agents in my market in my cell phone. So I'll push them out. All right. So I really have like 1,100, right? And then I would say to you, your job is to scale what others are looking to avoid. Your job, all the money is in doing the stuff that nobody else wants to do. So what if you just said, okay, I'm going to carve out 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock. And the only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get on the phone and I'm either going to FaceTime, text, call, or send a personal email to every person in my database. Tristan, what's up, man? How's Malibu? Haven't seen you in a while. Dude, I just want to ask you one question. How has the last 343 days of the lockdown, how has COVID and the pandemic altered or changed how you feel about your home? Would you just let me know the answer to that question? I would love to know. And whether I'm over the phone or on a FaceTime, or I send you a text, or I send you an email, like, I need to know intimately what's on the mind of my clients. Now, Tristan, you're a marketing guy. Pavel, you're a marketing guy. By the way, we're not very diverse here. Where's our female? Just for the record here.
I know, right?
Busting you guys' chops.
We've got diversity in minorities. So
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm Mexican. Here we go.
Hey, dude.
I'm Russian.
3% of the population redheads. So just saying.
There you go.
But think about that question, guys. Like, so imagine as a marketer, if you could publish a blog or a video and you say, thanks so much for reading my, blog, or thanks so much for watching this video. In the last 93 days, I reached out to 1,293 people that I know, like, and trust, and they feel the same way about me. And I asked them one question: how has COVID and everything that's transpired over the last 12 months, how has it changed how you look and feel about your home? And every one of them gave me an answer, and they basically fell into 7 buckets. 73% of the people said this, 42% of the people said this, 19% of the people said that. Like that would be a fascinating research piece that would also as a video be picked up by CNN, Fox News, the local ABC channel, because it would be so insightful on this little thing called 17% of the GDP of the US, housing. Like it's a big deal right now and people are looking for interesting stories and data points. So on one hand, you want to know because these are your customers. Like you say you love your clients, then reach out to every one of them and find out where they're at. And maybe not on that call do you need to say, hey, have you had any thoughts of selling? But maybe on the second call, you say, Pablo, wanted to let you know that in the last like 2 years, home price appreciation in greater Seattle, Kent, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Home prices are up 14.5%, right? Just in the last 2 years. Buyer demand, because of the 200,000 new jobs coming into the greater Seattle marketplace over the next 12 months, has escalated to a fever point where now when a home comes on the market, we're averaging 11 offers with interest rates sitting at 2.81%. And the millennial market wanted to get in, right? We've never seen a marketplace like this. I'm just curious, like, do you know anybody that's had any thoughts of selling? Like educate, especially like in the Seattle marketplace with all the techies and all the hippies, like be the one that actually delivers something interesting. So when they're sitting around talking about, social distancing around the fire pit with their masks on, that they actually could say, hey man, you know what I just heard the other day? Like, hey, did you know? Like people love that stuff.
Well, dude, that's why I love KCM. I know you do too.
Right. I'm not an investor in KCM, but
either.
damn, I love that company so much.
Yeah, dude, I agree. There's a great question, John. What's up, John?
John is your coaching client, by the way, Tom.
Yes. What's up, John?
He says, how would you utilize your virtual assistant to best communicate with your database to keep yourself top of mind? It's a good question.
I would have my virtual assistant send personal emails. And what I would say is, do me a favor. Here's how I want you to do the email. I want you to go to their Facebook page, their Instagram page, find a photo of them and their family. And then I want you to screenshot that, put it in the email and say, hey, Tristan, I saw this photo. It made my heart gush. I'm just thinking about you. Hope you're doing great.
Love it. Wow.
And if you really want to kill it, I would ask my virtual assistant to take that photo, send it to any one of the, sites out there and have that photo printed and then send it to them as a gift and just say, love this photo. It's so funny in this world today where we've got 8 million photos on our phone, but very few in our home. I hope this one lands in your home. I'd have them do stuff like that because like at the end of the day, like scaling those touch points. Now you're going to be the one that responds when they go, oh my God, Pavel, thank you so much. And I do love that photo. And I can't believe, like you're going to get all that inbound. So the thing I would tell people is just don't do that to 1,000 people tomorrow.
Yeah, I know.
Do it to like 5 a day. Cause you're going to get responses. So I would just make that part of my virtual assistant's job. It's like to do that and to scan all of my friends for things like birthdays, celebrations, anything, anything, right? To say, hey, here's like 8 people that did something on social today that you need to reach out and make a comment on. I would just have them like, guys, here's the comment I made. I know we're talking about assistants and all that stuff. I was talking to this gal earlier today on my podcast. And the question was, okay, if Madonna or David Bowie or whoever your favorite star is went into the business, what would they do? Would they enter things in the MLS? Would they do paperwork? No, they would acknowledge I'm a freaking star. The only thing I'm going to do is star-worthy activities. Yeah. Everything else would be awesome.
That's it.
Yeah. Dude, be like Madonna. That's the message.
All over social media. It makes sense. That's where they go. They'd go all in. Dude, totally. Yeah. Great question, John. It's striking things. All right, so we've got 1 more minute with you, man. Anything on your mind that you want to talk about in regards to leverage that you want to leave us with?
I didn't get to answer the other question around what the long game would be. And that would be 1,000% spend all of 10 hours a week expanding your brand. Get clear on what your promise is. What is the thing that you do that no one else does in your marketplace? What do you do that's unique, special, different, even if you need to hire somebody to help you figure that out? At the end of the day, like the greatest degree of separation between you and Zillow is you. Right? So how do you put you on steroids? You on video, you on social, you in email, you in print, you over the phone, because brands like people are going to Zillow because they trust that they can find the information, and then they're hoping they get an agent. You with me? If they already know you and like you and trust you, you can get them the information, but they already know you, like you, and trust you. So the thing that I've been doubling down on with my clients for the last 3 years is put your brand on steroids, become the most recognizable agent in your town, in your church, in your sphere, whatever that looks like, right? Is it having 5,000 for sale signs? Is it direct mail? Is it billboards? Is it TV? Is it radio? Is it ads on Hulu? I don't care, but do it, because that's how you're going to win, short-term and long-term.
Dude, and that's where leverage comes in too. Makes
Right.
a lot of sense.
Leverage, yeah.
Well, you can't do it all on your own. You need someone to help you do all that stuff, because you have to be on the phone and going on appointments and negotiating and showing houses and solving problems. And so the answer is leverage everything.
I love it, dude. Well, Tom,
Yeah.
Thanks for your time, bro. Appreciate it.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah. Appreciate you guys. Pavel, it's about time we finally got together, man.
Finally,
I've been stalking you forever.
Sounds good, brother.
Yeah. Keep up the good work. Thank you guys. And for everybody out there
Thank you.
watching, God bless you guys. Crush 2021, focus on getting listings, make that your mission, and you're going to win. See you guys soon.
Thanks,
Thank
man.
you.
Appreciate it,
Have
buddy.
a good one.
That was good, man. Very good, informative. I loved it. We went right into it. Pavel, thanks for making this all possible.
Thank you for hosting
first leverage mastermind
on the books
by Virtudesk. It was good. We didn't want to overdo it with a whole bunch of hours. So I think it was just the right amount of time. So
exactly. So people are not that overwhelmed, and we got some good stuff and get some great value from interesting people. And so that's amazing. Yeah.
I love it. And we're getting some good results here. John, I think John stuck around for the whole thing. John?
I think he did.
Thanks,
I
buddy.
spoke with him on the phone a couple of days ago. If you want to bring him in, we can bring him in. I think he's actually.
I can't through here because
he's not on webinar, but he spoke with me. The guy's in New York, and he's a good deal. Yeah,
I love it. Well, look, I want to thank all of the people that participated on this too. So we had you, obviously, you're the CEO of Virtudesk, so we can't do it without you. We had Jonky, we had Kevin Markarian, Jonky Patel. We had Lorraine Baldwin. There's Jonky. What's up? We had
Jonky,
June, who runs my social media. And then, of course, we had Tom. Guys, thank you so much. Jonky, thanks for joining us. Appreciate your time.
Appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. I didn't want to cut in, but that was just some awesome content, you guys. I love it.
Yeah, and I wanted to say we have a huge a huge team behind it who actually helped to put it together. We had Sarah, we have Audrey who helped us out. We have their team, about 12 people, who the production assistant who helped to put it together.
Yep.
And to operate this thing from the back end. Because guys, if that was not for leverage, we would not be able to do it ourselves. Let's just put it that way. Even that right here.
I totally agree. If it's not for Virtudesk, if it's not leveraging your business, we wouldn't be here. So thank you, Powell. Thank you for making it happen. Thank you, T.
Thanks, you guys.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. Have an awesome day. Thanks for joining us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Virtudesk online.
Have a good one, guys.